Hey everybody, I'm live. How's it going? It's just you and me. Let's see how many people we got here. Not too many. That's fine. That's what happens when you have a surprise stream with 5 minutes warning. So you guys got any questions? Let's take a look at the chat here. Oh, check out my new swag. I've got a nice new shirt. It turns out that when you have a logo that goes from almost pure yellow, which we darkened up to maintain this edge here, up to magenta, pure magenta. Pure magenta doesn't print very well on black. So if you look at like the mug, the magenta looks like a little dark, like a little purplish. But then on vinyl, it's a lot brighter. So I think for our color scheme, vinyl is really pretty killer because it's just so much brighter and more vibrant than direct to garment printing, DTG. So I need to look over everything on hexshirt.com and see whether we can get vinyl, because I think it looks awesome. How good that looks. I love it. It's on the back too. My back's a lot less round, so it's a better platform for the logo. Got my hair cut. Looking fancy. Didn't feel like fighting to put my hex earring in, because man, sometimes finding a hole. I'm not even gonna make that joke I wanna make, because I'm all politically correct now. All right. Let's see what kind of questions you guys have got. When stream with Vitalik? It's a good question. I haven't messaged him. I haven't asked him. I should do that. Nice haircut. Thanks. Any word on other exchanges that are on board with Hex? Well, we've got Ether Delta, Fork Delta on day one because anyone can add the contract there. And the snapshot, as you know, is in about 6.5 days. So that's a pretty short period of time. Let's take a look here. Countdown timer. 6 days, 5 hours, 46 minutes, and 30 seconds. That is not a long time. So Ether Delta, Fork Delta, day one. IDEX reached out and said they wanted to list. This was a few months ago. I need to follow up with those guys. And then another exchange reached out and said they wanted to list it. It's a newer exchange, and I don't want to name drop them until, I see it on their site first, and then I'll promote them. Because, I've got 100,000 followers, and I'm not going to name drop an exchange unless there's a real good reason to do it, particularly since I'm telling everyone in the world to stop trading, right? So I made a video a very long time ago about why video games suck and poker sucks and gambling sucks. It's really a video about why trading sucks. So here's what happens with trading. You sit and you stare at your screen as many hours you can until your eyes bleed. And you have price alarms that wake you up at weird hours in the night. And it's a 24-hour market that never sleeps. Unlike the New York Stock Exchange. It has rest periods, right? People go to sleep for a while. And in crypto, the market never sleeps. And since so much of the news is in Asia, your time zones get all mixed up if you're in anywhere that speaks English as their primary language. I guess Australia's close to Asia's time zone. Maybe those guys have a little bit better time with the the weird news hours. So you stare at your screen and you try and imagine ways to take other people's money that don't want you to have it. So there's another guy, another poor son of a bitch on the other side of the screen, and he's trying to figure out ways to take your money. And both of you guys are sitting there staring at a screen, not building anything, not creating anything, trying to take each other's money. And as you fight over longs and shorts and, volatility if you're an options trader, the exchange is getting rich. So if you look at there's an exchange that's very popular. They have over 30,000 Bitcoin in their insurance fund, which is really just a retirement fund. They can do whatever they want with that money, buy a yacht. If Bitcoin was 10 grand, which it's not, but let's pretend it was, just for easy math, 10 grand times 30,000 coins, about $300 million. So, yeah, they got $300 million from, guess what? Taking it from their users. So people use their platform. They get wrecked. They try and take other people's money that predicted the price, more incorrectly than they did. And then somehow they took $300 million just in insurance fund from their users, and then probably, a multiple of that for just fees, right? So let's say they got 3 times that in fees, right? So they've made maybe $1 billion. And where did the $1 billion come from? It came from their users. So the question is the world a better place because $1 billion of crypto enthusiast money was taken from them and given to an exchange? I don't think that it is a better world. They don't build software. They don't improve the product. What are they doing, right? They don't even really advertise. So if you like watching a lot of people get chewed up for making some exchanges rich, trading is good for you. Now, I used to shill, and I don't any longer. At least I don't on YouTube. I don't on Twitter. If you're in my trading channel, I'll still leave a link there. If you're in my price calls channel, I'll still leave a link there, because some portion of you guys won't take the advice. Some portion of you guys will continue to trade anyway, even though I'm telling you it's a terrible idea. So for you guys that just can't help it, you can go to richardhart.win and trade till your heart is content. But for you guys that can help it, you should stop trading. If you made money, good, keep it, stop. If you lost money, stop revenge trading. It just makes you worse, not better. The market is less predictable than it's ever been. Unless you have a news source inside of China that's telling you what's going on beforehand, the technical analysis isn't what it used to be. We went up 42% in a day on China news, and then we didn't go up anymore. And we retraced the full 42% pump candle and dipped far beneath it. That is not normal, right? That is not normal in Bitcoin. And you're probably going to get a lot more not normal things, and you're going to get chopped up, and the people that are going to get it rich are the exchanges. So stop getting chopped up, stop making the exchanges rich, stop thinking that you can predict an unpredictable thing that is more unpredictable than it's ever been. You're not able to do that. It's not a good bet. So if you believe it's proven that the ideal way to handle money management is to vary your bet size based on your confidence. And this assumes that your estimate of your confidence is realistic. And most people probably overestimate how confident they should be in things. It's called the Kelly criterion, if you want to look it up on Wikipedia. Kelly. So if you are uncertain about what the price is really going to do, then you shouldn't be betting, because you should only take a bet if your certainty leads you to an outcome that you like. The betting size modification keeps you in the game through bad beats, right? Because everyone gets bad beats. You play it statistically correct, and every once in a while something that's improbable just hammers you, right? And if you just happen to be all in on your stack on one of those times, you're out of the game for good. So if you now have a system where it's more unpredictable than it's ever been, then you don't have any certainty you're going to be profitable at all. You shouldn't play at all. But even if you were certain that you had some type of edge, your bet would be so much smaller due to the extra uncertainty, right? And really, what are you achieving in the world? Like you're destroying your health and your relationships and doing something that has a high suicide rate, probably to just lose a lot of money and wish you never did it. And then if actually you win and you beat the other guy and you take his money, that poor son of a bitch was in your position, and now it's just even worse for him, right? So I don't think trading is honorable or good. If your counterparty was some giant faceless megacorp and they were the one that was taking the beating, okay, maybe you could feel a little bit better about that, but you're not going to be winning anyway. So it doesn't really matter, you don't have to care as much about the horror on the other side, because you're going to have your own personal horror to deal with. We went up 100x from 200 to 20,000, no dips over 40%, all of them resolved in less than 31 days to find a bottom, or 34. And now we've dipped you know, we had a 14K top and we went under 7K. We went down to 6,500. So what's the math on that? The math on that would be similar to going up to 10K and dropping down to 3250, which is a drop of like 6750. Is that, I don't know. Let's do the math here. What percent is 6250 of 20,000? Or let's do it over 14K, right? We'll do the local top. 44.7%. That's a pretty big drop, but you see, that's not the actual drop. The actual drop is 14K. It's easier to just measure this stuff on TradingView, right? Minus 6250. 7750 is your actual drop. Over 14K. Ooh, a 55% drop. Ouch, right? So we're doing things that we never, ever, ever, ever did in 2016, 2017. We're doing those things now, right? So if you're looking for fractals and you're looking for patterns and you're looking at the old chart, it's not working. It's not working, right? Because now we're on day like 140 of dip on a 55% dip. You know, historically, that kind of means like the parabola has been violated and you're going to drop 80%. That's what that usually means. But I think the game is so weird and different now that what it used to mean probably isn't going to mean anymore. So what's the good news? The good news is, hey, I just happen to have built this really cool product that pays you for holding so that you don't have to get wrecked on margin. So if you want to make money just through holding, it's like getting free mining hardware and electricity, except you just lock your coins up and they're free. So you can get them for free if you're a Bitcoin holder, and the snapshots in 6 days and 5 hours. Lucky you, right? Lucky you. Now, what's the USD price going to do? I have absolutely no idea. I know what it is designed to do. I know what the design parameters are. It was designed to outperform any other cryptocurrency that's ever existed. It's designed to outperform Bitcoin. It's designed to outperform Ethereum, which it's built on. Well, how is that possible? Well, one, what does Bitcoin do? It transfers value. You increase a number here, it decreases a number over there, right? You can transfer value. Usually you're decreasing your number, increasing somebody else's. And it's got censorship resistance, and it tends to go up in price. And it's got one pumpamental built in, that the inflation rate drops in half every 4 years. Single pumpamental, right? Well, we transfer value censorship resistant with a better mining ecosystem, and we have more pumpamentals, and the coins are free like Bitcoin used to be, and it can do time deposits with paying interest, which Bitcoin can't, and it doesn't pay miners inflation that they use to sell the price down in the market. So every single 10 minutes there's another 12.5 Bitcoins that come out that get sold on the market for electricity. Why? Because their bills are that high, because difficulty is at all-time highs, but price is 4 times lower than all-time high, or 3 times lower than all-time high. So guess what? Even if they wanted to hold, they can't. They have bills to pay. Period. They have to sell the coins, right? Because they have facilities that they have to pay for. They have electric bills they have to pay. Even if they turn the electricity off, they're still paying rent, and they're still paying for someone to guard the machines. So Hex does everything Bitcoin does better except for liquidity, because it's brand new, and retailer acceptance, and ATMs. So if you want to use an ATM, Bitcoin's the best for crypto. If you want more liquidity, if you need to place a $100 million order and you're worried about the market sliding against you, Bitcoin's way better. If you want to use your BTC at one of the 800 retailers that accepts it, it's better. But if you want to make mad gains, you can't beat the return on something you get for free. Can't. Yeah. So I'll look back at your... So my point is, and I've been saying this for a while, don't get wrecked before the Hex launch. Like, it would be a terrible time to get wrecked. Because to me, this feels like when Bitcoin was $1. That's the feeling, the vibe. Hey, look, here's this thing I can get for free. Look, it's got all this cool new features. Look, it's got this cool community, right? We got 18,700 emails now after the removes, and that means like hard bounces, and like when people sign up, their mailboxes get full and all types of weird stuff happens. So then you have to like stop mailing them, or else the servers stop delivering you to their inbox, to anyone's inbox. They consider you spam if you don't do your moves properly. If you take the advice to stop trading, you may never know what a good solid service that you've been done. Now look, I've got a referral link. If you want to trade, go ahead and use it. It's richardhart.win, but I can tell you, you really shouldn't. It can destroy your life. And while it's destroying your life, it also takes all your money. It's one of the few things in the world where the harder you work, the more you lose. Well, most things don't work like that, right? Like if you work a normal job, the harder you work, the more money you make, right? You put in more hours, they pay you more. So let's go to chat. I refreshed the window and chat like disappeared. So let's see if it comes back if I pop it out. Yeah, it does. All right. And I can tell you guys, I can only talk to you for about 40 more minutes. I'm going to scroll up to the top so I don't miss anybody. Well, it looks like I'm going to miss some people because my top isn't the real top, unfortunately. The first message I see here is, what was your post about China exchanges about? Nothing. They just shut down 127 Chinese exchanges, apparently. But none of them are ones that you've ever heard of, Westerner or foreigner. So maybe it doesn't matter that much. But it's interesting timing that the price dumped so hard in relationship to that news. So maybe it did matter. Oh, somebody says, I watched that video and I said to myself, boy, I suck. Yeah, look, a lot of people that are in crypto are poker players and gamers. I was addicted to games for 10 years. Is part of the reason why I know about crypto, because I was just on the internet reading all the time. And when I point out that they're just destroying other people's lives and their own, and they're not building anything, and they're wasting all their time, and there's better challenges out there, like building products, the same people that you're playing, you can get their money, and they'll give it to you happily if you give them a product or service they want. You don't have to take it from them at force by being on the other side of the trade, right? So I've done this before, but I did it again today. I put out a survey, a poll on Twitter, and I said, okay, how many of you guys are revenge trading and you think you're going to make it back? And how many guys are revenge trading and you think you're not going to make it back? And how many of you guys are profitable for a little while and then show results? And it was 75% revenge trading, negative losers of money, and 25% made some money. But you don't know how much the numbers are, right? So 3/4 were losers, 25% were winners. I'd be willing to bet that the winners didn't win as much as the losers lost, because there's that $1 billion of profit in that single exchange. Well, that had to come out, that net negative had to come out of the pockets of the winners and losers combined. So if you take the winners and the losers and you combine them, they're going to have lost the profit that the exchange got, the $1 billion, right, per year. So if you see those results and you think to yourself, well, do you have an edge over other people? What, do you have a trading view account? People have trading view accounts. Oh, you have a bunch of indicators you can add to trading view. They're all free. Okay. Well, everyone's got the same tools there, right? We're all looking at the same chart. Oh, you got the tick chart over on Clark Moody. Okay. If you want to pay maximum fees, go ahead and trade the tick chart, and you'll get the house edge multiplied against you the maximum rate possible, because that's all they care about. They don't make money if you buy and hold. They make money if you trade volume and keep pressing buy and sell and moving the market against yourself every time you do it. I mean, you're so small you probably don't notice it, but I mean, you get paid to make a limit order, and you pay 3 times more to place a market order, right? So mashing that market order button on the tick chart is about as much money as you could pay to the house advantage against you. So stop trading. Take a look at Trustless Interest from Hex. It's free. Hard to screw that up. And if you want more, All right, if you want to play that game harder, and if you had the opportunity to travel back in time and buy Bitcoin at $1, how much would you buy? Answer that question, right? If you wanted to do that, there's a way to turn Ethereum into Hex, and I think it's going to vastly outperform the free claiming, because the first day there's 1 billion Hex, and whoever if you're the only person that puts any Ethereum in, you get all of it. And the only way you don't get all of it, so if you put like $1 of Ethereum in, you get all billion Hex. The only way you don't get all billion is if other people put in some money too. Then you get less. That's all there is to it. So if you do the math, since we know there's 1 billion Hex the first day, and there's rounds every other day, but they're 500 million probably the first one, and then it just keeps decreasing, because as people free claim, less coins are available for the adoption amplifier, because it just gets a copy of the unclaimed coins. If day one you claimed 1 Bitcoin, you're going to get a 20% bonus, right? So that's 12,000 Hex. So now if you take the billion Hex and you divide it by 12,000, you're going to get 83,333. And so what that means is there's the equivalent of 83,333 Bitcoin claims given to the adoption amplifier the first day. And then if you put in a penny of ETH and you're the only one that does it, you get all 83,333 Bitcoin worth of Hex claims, right? I don't think 83,333 Bitcoin is going to claim the first day. That's like almost $1 billion. Let's do that math real quick. Let's do some quick maths. That's a Big Shaq song lyric. Well, let's look up the price right now. All right, price of Bitcoin right now is 72.61. So let's take 72.61 times 83,333 over 1 million. That's 60 million bucks. Seems low. Let's do it again for good luck. 7260 times 83,333 over. Okay, 604 million. That sounds better to me. Unless there's $604 million worth of BTC, like. So I did this math before, back when Bitcoin was 10,000 a coin. And it would have taken something like $6 million of Ethereum into the adoption amplifier on day one to make it the same as free claiming versus using the adoption amplifier, if your round trip to get in and out of Bitcoin was $100, which it is if you paid 0.5% in and 0.5% out, and the market didn't move against you at all, and you didn't pay a bid-ask spread. Now, if you guys that already own Bitcoin, well, it's a no-brainer. You claim it's free. But if you guys that don't own Bitcoin yet, and you're asking yourself, well, should I buy the Bitcoin before the snapshot, wait for the snapshot, sell it for Ethereum, and then send the Ethereum to the adoption amplifier, and maybe spread it over the first week, see if you can get a better ratio, right? Like less people join that day or something. And then maybe the share price doesn't move against you that much because it hasn't ratcheted up that high yet. I think that AA is going to outperform the free claim unless you already hold BTC. If you already hold BTC, you're not paying that 1% round trip penalty. It could be far worse. The market could move against you a few percent. It could move against you a lot of a percent, really. It could also move in your favor. You can't tell, right? Market timing is its own hard thing. But now that the round trip price per Bitcoin is less because the price per Bitcoin is less. So even if you're paying that 1% round trip still, you're paying it now on a 7250 priced Bitcoin instead of a $10,000 Bitcoin. So your round trip's about a third less, which means that maybe a third less Ethereum would need to be sent in order to make the free claim more viable, in which case it would take you from 6 million down to 4 million. So if you think more than 4 million is going to be sent to the AA on the first day, then it's probably more cost efficient to free claim for the first day. If you think it's less than 4 million that's going to get sent the first day, then AA is more efficient, right? And then that same math you have to do every single day. Now, if you think 4 million is going to get sent the first day, do you think 4 million is going to get sent every day for 350 days? Because what's 4 million times 350? Let's take a look here. It's really 351. There's 351 days of AA. It's 1.4 billion. So if you think that there's going to be 4 million a day in there that always makes free claiming more efficient than AA, then the contract will have received about 1.4 billion in ETH over 351 rounds, which is 351 days. I don't know what it's going to look like. And I also know that this opportunity to get in and get out of Bitcoin just for free claiming, the window is very short, right? You've only got 6 days and 5 hours left to do it. So once that period's over, we don't even have to ever do this math again. So this math that we're doing right now, like comparing AA to free claim, we never have to do it again after the snapshot, because now you don't have the opportunity to go back in time and have bought Bitcoin before the snapshot, right? You just have the ability to either get into AA or refer people or buy it from somebody else that did those things, right? Let's take a look at chat. So if you guys want to free claim, you should be getting your Bitcoin into the right wallets now. You can go to t.me/hexcrypto to make sure that it's going to work out for you. You can go to the tech specs page on the website to see what kind of addresses are supported. You can watch the video that shows you how to claim and stuff. It's 1 minute and 24 seconds long. It's in the videos page. Tomorrow I'll probably be making another video because the user interface has been improved to be way cooler. It shows you, how much bonus you're getting and shows you like all types of awesome stuff. So I got to redo that video to just show you how much cooler it is. And I can also walk you through the adoption amplifier, which I believe is the most important part of this thing. So I can do that hopefully tomorrow as well. I'm the limiting factor. All the tools that I need are there now. What else? Yeah, so if you want to be in the game, get your Bitcoin where it needs to be, and make sure you've got the channels open and ready to turn into ETH. And then you can turn it into Hex. That's the game. So you need to have exchanges to be able to do that. And sometimes, most of the time, they want you to AML KYC. So you better be getting set up now, and you'll be lucky if it's done in time. Because these people, like exchanges are not known for being the best counterparties in the world. You said that you can't guarantee what will be done with the funds received in the adoption amplifier because of the Howey test. Can you guarantee that the funds won't go into your personal address? I'm not going to guarantee you anything. So I don't understand this idea where everyone thinks that they get to be the cyber police and figure out what everyone else is doing with their money. No one is telling you guys anything about what they're doing with any of their money whatsoever. No one knows anyone else's balances. No one knows where anyone else trades. No one knows what volume they do. No one knows any of these things. You're not the cyber police. The world is not better by you knowing. And in this particular case of Hex, you super shouldn't know, because if there's a chance that you think there's benefit from you sending money somewhere, then it could trigger another leg of the Howey test. And there's 4 legs, and the less of them you trigger, the less likely you are to be called a security, the less likely you are to be banned from exchanges, because crypto exchanges don't carry securities because they don't have broker-dealer licenses. So since exchanges aren't broker-dealers, they don't list securities, you don't want your cryptocurrency to be labeled a security because you won't be able to trade anywhere. So it would be very easy for me to make big promises and say, any money that went to this thing, it's going to turn into this awesome thing and that awesome thing and this awesome thing. And that would amplify the amount of money that would come in, wouldn't it? Right? Because people would see more value, right? But I have my hands tied by the law. I can't do that, and I won't do that. So I'm not going to make you any promises or give you any expectations about work that I might do or work anyone else might do or what money might belong to who or do what thing. Why would I do that? I don't want to be listed as a security, right? I like this thing to be on exchanges. The people keep asking something. People that they're too dumb to understand that they're threatening the project every single time they ask that question, right? I can't be more clear. Expect absolutely no profit or benefit whatsoever from the Ethereum that you send to the contract. Seriously, truly. If you send it, great. Consider it a donation. If you don't send it, great. The thing still works just fine without that, right? You'll just have less hex, but the project still operates perfectly fine, right? So Richard, hex takes off and makes you a shit ton of money. Will you finally get that candlestick fixed? Sure, because you asked. Yes. It's more of a time thing than a money thing. I could fix it myself. I just have to buy a torch. Why the change with the referrals? The referrals didn't change. So I took off the guide on how to make a referral link from the website because when I'm talking to larger referrers and I'm trying to onboard them, they say, well, isn't everyone that I sign up just going to refer themselves? And the harder I make it for people to screw referrers who have worked hard to get the word out about the project by stealing the commissions from those people, the harder I make that, the happier they are, right? So nothing changed, no software changed whatsoever. But if you want to become a referrer and learn how to make a referral link, it's harder for you now because you should actually be a referrer and not just a retail guy that wants to steal the commission of the person that actually referred you, is what changed. Because in the end, having a larger piece of a smaller pie is crappier than having a smaller piece of a larger pie. If you own 10% of all the hex, you could only 10x your money because you could only get 100%. If you want more than a 10x on your money, you need to have USD appreciation, which mostly comes from onboarding new users, right? So if you want more users, what do you need? You need advertisements, good advertisements. Okay, well, if you have a referral program that pays people a good commission, right? Like I show my referral link all the time, pumpamentals.com. You want 10% more hex? Go to pumpamentals.com, right? Other people are doing the same. They're making guides, they're making videos, they're making walkthrough tours. And I like them and I link them and I tweet them because they deserve that. They worked for that, right? So we need a good referral ecosystem and the referrers need to be paid well for the work that they're doing. And that's the only way that you're going to get scale and onboarding a massive users is through honest referrers referring people and getting paid for it. And then they could ramp that money back into marketing, right? Not me, of course, because I can't promise you anything. So have no expectations from me. It's hard. It's hard to forcibly say that I'm going to do nothing because I can. If you're addicted to doing things, it's hard to stop doing the things. Let's go through the list here. I got like 30 minutes max with you guys. How much do I think Hex will be worth? I have absolutely no idea. I know it's designed to become the most valuable cryptocurrency and have less dips and have the best fundamentals and have the best chart. That's what it's designed to do. But what it will actually do, no idea. I can tell you there's 18,700 and something people on the email list, not including 4,000 that a dev lost that is no longer with us. There's hundreds of, like 300 and plus thousand people that have visited the site this month, the last 30 days. You know, when I look at the people on site, it like floats between like 60 to 400 people at any given time. What other metrics do I have that I could tell you? We've got almost 5,000 people in the chat room. Very, very, very busy and active. And this is without a single article in any large crypto magazine, of which I just did an interview a day ago, maybe 2 days ago now, with one of the largest publications. Apparently, there's going to be an article coming out. I'd be very interested to see what type of interest that generates. We've never spent $1 on marketing, not one. And so to have, 20,000, basically 20,000 emails and basically 5,000 people in the chat room off of not a single dollar spent on marketing, and no one's ever even seen the adoption amplifier, they've never even seen it, that's pretty fantastic. And since I'm looking at the email addresses and there's a whole ton of Proton mail in there, these are security conscious people and they're not giving away their email addresses for free. For you to get a crypto user's email address, he's really got to like what you have to offer, because we're more security conscious people. So I would say, and I'm just guessing here, but it feels to me like maybe 1 out of 20 people would just give away their email for an optional, hey, do you want to know what's going on, right? But, so let's say it's 1 in 10 to 1 in 20. We've got about 20K emails. That's in between 200,000 and 400,000 people that are interested in the product. 200 to 400,000 people is a lot of people. That is a lot of people, right? So I'm pretty excited about those numbers. Those are the only metrics I've got right now is how many people have joined the chat, how many people are visiting the site, and how many people are giving their email addresses. I'll have better metrics in 7 days, right? Because then we'll see how many people are using the contract and how large the numbers are and how many people are free claiming and how many people are sending ETH to the adoption amplifier and how large are the numbers. Like all that stuff is going to be known so soon, right? So we don't have to, I've spent years now modeling this and trying to predict how things will work out, and we get to just actually see it, which I'm very excited about. Let's get on the list here. Do I have thoughts that we hit the BTC bottom? I have no idea. Whatever China does. China wants to put out some more bad news, I bet we go lower. China wants to say something nice, I bet we go higher. There was a good confluence of trend lines around 6,900 that you could play. But even that, you still dip down to 6,500, which you wouldn't really want to see that happen. You'd rather see the trend lines only get overrun by maybe 1%. So everyone that played that trend line probably got stopped out, because what do you consider like a strong stop or a loose stop? Tight versus loose stop. A 500. So if you bought 6,900 and we went down to 6,500, that's like a 400 move past. You'd have to have a pretty loose stop to not be stopped out at that point, because it's like 4% or something, or more. Let's do the math. I got the calculator here. It's so much easier when I've got TradingView open. So you bought at 6,950, let's call it, and it went to 6,500, which is a 450 difference. Over 6,950. Yeah, it's a 6.5% over. I think that's a pretty loose stop. So probably most longs that bought that trend line got stopped out. Yeah, you should stop trading, and I should stop talking to you about it. On down the list. So all the shorts got wrecked in the 42% green candle, and then everyone that bought anywhere in that candle and felt great about it, they all got wrecked when it made new lower lows 30 days later. So all the longs got wrecked, all the shorts got wrecked, the exchange got rich. Stop trading. Stop. I can't wait till my Tone Vase video comes out where I express this in much harsher language to him, explaining. I don't want to give away the excitement, but it's pretty spicy. It's pretty spicy. I say mean things, true and accurate, and yet mean things. Because if you do bad things, you should have mean things said about you. Far too many exchange shillers on YouTube? Yeah, because the exchanges pay well, because the customers lose the most money on those links. So let me explain to you how that game works. You have a user, and he has a finite amount of money. And if you give him to one link, then he loses a lot of that money, and then the referrer can be paid more. But if you give him to another link, he loses less money, and then the referrer gets paid less. So basically, whatever you see YouTubers promoting is whatever's going to lose their customers the most money, because that leaves them the largest commissions. That's how it works, man. It ain't pretty. You're feeding people into a meat grinder, basically. But look, I've had an exchange link for a long time, and I've also told you guys to not trade for a long time. And I've also given you pretty good trading advice that, on top of all of your done your own research and all of your personal responsibility, I did you better than most. So going down the list here. Thank you for what you do, Richard. I try, man. Free books, free trading chat, free tokens, free videos. I give you everything free, right? You can't possibly give me money. You don't know my crypto address. There's no shopping cart that accepts your credit card. You don't know my bank details. None of you guys has ever given me any money. Maybe a couple guys private have been nice to me, but nothing at scale, and nothing more than like 2 people. Maybe 4 people. Nice guys. They ask you for your account. They're like, hey man, I really want to hook you up. You're like, all right. I'm reading your guys' questions here. With the current state of altcoins, do you actually believe Hex will ever have fiat value in the near future? Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that anyone in this chat could make it have fiat value like this, right? Like making something have fiat value, not very hard. It's not probably not the. I think you were really trying to say, "Hey, Hex will suck" or something, because that question just seems silly. Like, I don't get it. Oh, so I did a Twitter poll on what do you guys think. So I said an anonymous donor will give you guys 10,000 Hex at 183 days from now, if whichever of you is most accurate guessing the multiple that it'll do from the bottom of its first day trading on the exchange that has the most volume to the top of day 183 after that day. And it'd be a ratio, right? So if it traded at $1 and it went to $10, and these numbers are off a little bit, so let's call it 10 cents. So if it traded at 10 cents and then it traded at $1, that's a 10x, right? So if the low of day 1 was 10 cents and then the high of day 183 was $1, then that would be a 10x. And the numbers people were giving were, 400x, 600x, 5x, 1.5x, 0.01x, right? So we'll have these numbers soon. We don't need to guess much longer, right? We will know these numbers soon. But my point with pointing that out is there are a lot of guesses that are very large. And it's my idea that I have that if people are guessing that something, so first they're being like monetized to guess properly, because if they don't guess properly, they don't win the 10K. And then, if you think something's going to go up in 180 days, 183 days, 50x or 60x, how much of that might you invest in? Probably a lot, right? So, I'm giving you all of the data and metrics that I have. The only good prediction I have for price is those guys that believe those numbers are likely to invest whatever they feel is reasonable. That's my guess, right? It could be wrong. Maybe they think something is going to go up 50x in half a year and they won't invest in it. Okay. I'm giving you the same data that I have and then telling you how I'm arriving at my conclusions, and then you can arrive at your own conclusions, right? That's the best I can do. How is Ethereum decentralized? Listen, let me give you the list of tokens that are over $1 billion in value that launched on or mostly use Ethereum, okay? BNB, USDT, ETH itself, TRX, and EOS. That's 5 of the top 10 highest market cap cryptocurrencies. Launched on or primarily use Ethereum. Please shut up, please. It's the most successful platform for launching billion-dollar valuation tokens in the history of the world. It has never had an inflation bug. It has ASIC resistance. It has a better mining ecosystem. Stop talking crap, please. You don't know what you're talking about. If you want to hear about the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum and Hex that runs on Ethereum, go to hex.win/Bitcoin and hex.html. And I believe it is case sensitive, so you best to just type it all lowercase. You could also just go to the website and scroll down on the homepage. Now, to try and hold the Bitcoin price up, because I prefer it to be higher because it's better for everybody, I don't say bad things about Bitcoin on the website. It's not even in the menu bar. You have to scroll down to like the middle of the page and find this one little text link that says, Bitcoin and Hex comparison. It's not even in the menu bar, right? If you click that, you'll be able to read where I tell you, oh, by the way, here's the real difference between these networks, right? Like Ethereum's got a bug bounty program. Bitcoin doesn't. Ethereum, like our consensus code is locked into a smart contract that you can't accidentally screw up because it's locked and uneditable. But the Bitcoin consensus code is spaghetti code, where if you change the networking stack, you can introduce a consensus inflation bug that lets anyone print as many free coins as they want, which just happened about a year ago. And a Bitcoin Cash developer discovered it, and he responsibly disclosed it instead of using it. If you found a bug in Bitcoin that let you print as many free coins as you wanted, would you use it, or would you tell other people about it and make it stop working? That happened in Bitcoin a year ago. So anyone that talks to me, Ethereum's not as safe, Ethereum's not as secure, they ain't never had no inflation bug, but you've had one executed and had to roll the chain back on a 6 billion coin print, and another that you just detected before someone used it, and he could have used it. Don't talk to me about security in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Or bring some data, because the data right now is far in my favor. What is the max supply of Hex? After the max supply of Hex, I think after the first year, it depends on how many people claim and when they claim and how many were referred. So it's in between, I think, like 640 billion and 760 billion. I think it's in that range. If you go to t.me/hex crypto, and we have all these triggers. So first you can call !pasta, and that gives you a list of all the triggers we have to answer all these questions we get all the time. So if you do !supply, no space, !supply with no spaces, it's going to tell you what my Excel sheet model predicts the supply will be. If you want to use someone else's model in JavaScript, there's a website called StakeHex. stakehex.com, where he has his models, and they're quite similar. And this will show you what, different worlds will look like for the total supply. But it's not, looking at the total supply is not going to help you predict the price of this, because you can't sell coins that are locked, and that would be in the total supply. So what really matters is how many unlocked coins are there that could be sold on the market. So that is the real number that you want. And we have no idea what that number will be, because I don't know how long people are going to lock. I don't know how many they're going to lock. I don't know what the percent of the currency that will be locked is. These are guesses, right? Now, you can set your guesses in the global options in stakehex.com by clicking the little gear box, and they're going to be guesses, right? So, I know what kind of range is reasonable, in the higher 500 to, 800, 500 to 800 range, right, is possible. But I can't tell you specifically. It's non-deterministic, right? I can give you ranges, but you would have to know what everyone else is going to do, and it's just not possible. Then after that phase, the inflation is just a maximum of 3.69% a year, which is lower than Bitcoin has ever had in the 10 years that it's existed after its inflation rate has dropped in twice half, right? It's an extremely low inflation rate, and we don't have miners dumping the price because we don't pay them inflation rewards. And you only get those coins at the end of your stake. And so for people that stake a long time, to get that 3x bonus shares, or 2x bonus shares, 3x total shares, they don't get that inflation until that much later date. And because they don't get that inflation until that much later date, it actually inflates the currency slower, because inflation is based on yesterday's supply. And if yesterday's supply is lower because the guys that got credited the inflation didn't actually receive it, well, then our effective inflation rate is actually much lower than 3.69%. And it's very complicated math. You'd have to use some complicated calculus to arrive at, what the equivalent rate will really be with a certain number of people staking and not receiving the inflation that they should have. And then, we may end up at 2% actual inflation. And then no one's selling it to pay electricity bills, whereas in Bitcoin they are. So we have a lower inflation rate, and our inflation has no externalities that force it to be sold like mining does, and it's delayed, and that delay causes there to be less inflation. So like after the launch phase and after all the bonuses are credited on day 353, it's an extremely low inflation system. Got 10 minutes left with you guys, max. Someone says, he's not a billionaire, Lamau. I am not a USD billionaire, and I've never claimed to be a USB billionaire. It's really hard to do that. You have to have $1,000 million. 1,000 million is a lot of million. What would I do if I was 18 right now? Every guy's answer to that question, man. Come on. Is Hex the best coin in Hexistence? I love it how many awesome words start with EX that we can just slap that H in front of. It's exciting, exhilarating. Someone just said hexalutely, which doesn't even make any sense, but hey. Yeah, our branding's on point, man. Our branding's on point. This shirt looks awesome. Awesome. I love it. Looks better in the back where I'm not so round. The branding is awesome. Stake it till you make it. If you're given programmable money, the first program should be interest. Trustless interest. World's first blockchain. World's first high interest, high yield. The world's first high interest blockchain CD, or certificate deposit, time deposit, bond in the UK they're called. And I just, for the Canadian dudes, you could call it a GIS, a guaranteed investment certificate. I don't know why the CD product has so many names in so many different places, but that's how it is. What other cool sayings do we have? Hex stakers get paid to hold the price up. Bitcoin miners get paid to dump the price. So many good slogans, right? I'm sure I'm forgetting some. There's tons. I'm very proud of the message and the marketing. I'm trying to roll back time. I'm trying to make it so that you guys can get in the beginning of a thing, just like I did. I mined Bitcoin when it was 50 cents for free by double clicking something on my computer. Now you guys can get something for free when it came out. How good is that, right? Good. I'm letting you guys relive a movement, something new that the world's never seen before. You have a chance to participate. If you missed your chance in Bitcoin, you have a second chance now. When can you sell your hex after getting them from AA? Instantly. You can instantly sell your hex that you get from AA. So basically the way the lobbies work is you join them while they're open, and then at 00 UTC, which is going to suck for people in Europe, right? Like, it's like midnight there, right? At 00, but it's great for people in Asia and the United States. So the timing was basically, it was accidentally great, because if you analyze the best time to end your eBay auctions, it's around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we're close to that number with 0000 UTC, and we used it for like efficiency for computation. Like, it's hard to explain, but it just made a lot of the math in the contract work better using that as the start time, and then it just also happened to be good for the optimal ideal eBay auction ending time. 7 minutes. So here's what I'd like to do tomorrow. I need to make you guys a video on if you're a retard, and many of you are. Many of you are retarded. I know you might not like that word because of political correctness, but originally that word just meant slow, which is why you can go to the pharmacy and you'll get medicines that have retard written on them, because it just means delayed release, slow, okay? Some of you guys are retarded. That's okay. I'm retarded at lots of things too. We're all retarded towards something, right? I'm not that great at particle physics. So I need to show you how to get Bitcoin, how to get Ethereum, how to secure your keys, how to use the contract the way that you want to use it. And it's probably going to be a challenge. Because right now I can't screw up, right? I can just talk to you guys. But if I'm making a video and I misspeak once, and then I have to like clunkily like go back and go to another screen, it just looks so crappy, right? So you really don't, when you make these kind of like demo tech videos, unless you edit them, which is time consuming, and you want to get them in one take, you can't make any mistakes or any misspeaks. It's actually challenging. So you'll end up like restarting a bunch. And then if the way that I'm doing it, I have to keep resetting my demo chain to have the original state over and over again. It's a challenge. So my devs, they made like video game hotkeys in the browser so that I can move time forward and perform certain actions in the contract by just using Alt-Shift number keys in the browser. Because I used to like have to like Alt-Tab and go to the actual contract, Ethereum virtual machine. But now I can just do it with hotkeys, which is pretty neat. I got that feature today, which I was pretty excited about. I literally didn't know that you could make the browser make the contract do things. I didn't know that you could even connect those, but I guess my developers are better than I am at software. So like, cool. I had no idea you could do that. I thought it was a dumb client. I didn't know that it could like issue commands. Thank you, devs. How do you prevent instant dump on the day when the first round of time deposits expire? Everyone misunderstands this. The claim phase is over a year. The dump phase is over a year too. And you don't know that everyone's going to choose the minimum length. And if people do indeed stake longer to get more pay, like they do in the bank, then their days will be all different times. And so there ain't no big dump day for free claimers that have 90% minimum 350-day auto stakes. If the AA guys that don't have a restriction decide to have a dump day, it will be very obvious on the chart because everyone knows it's public, right? You will see how many people have their stakes set to expire the same day. Now, if everyone has their stakes set to expire the same day, are you going to choose to expire your stake the same day? Perhaps not. And then you've got a Keynesian beauty contest of people looking at other people and seeing like, oh, well, do I want to front run this guy and try and beat a stake a day? Oh, but I need to be staked on day 353 in order to get that big payday where we pay all the unclaimed coins plus all the, multi-sig can't claim, we are all Satoshi, late penalties, times the multipliers for viral and critical mass. And those can up to 3x that payout, which is why the stakers always get paid more than the AA guys. Because the AA guys, the unclaimed coins they didn't get multiplied by any adoption multipliers. But the people on big payday on day 353, they do get paid that. So if you want to front run some guy that's big whale that's going to end a stake, well, you can't front run them too hard because you'll miss the big payday, right? So this is the first currency in the world to have a chart, the first cryptocurrency in the world to have a chart of future market supply where you can see, now look, that chart's not done yet. So you might have to hack that out at Etherscan until it appears, right? Maybe it'll appear before launch day and that would make me happier. It's not totally critical, right, off the bat. Because you can manually calculate these things because the blockchain is all public, right? So I keep calling it a chart, but for now I'll call it the data, right? The data for knowing when everyone's stakes are ending is public. If you want to chart it, you can make a chart. No other currency has that. And so if you're worried about surprise dumps and having a bunch of supply, dumped on your head, I don't know of any currency that has a feature to fight it as hard as this one does. So, we address that concern to the maximum degree that any cryptocurrency has ever done it that I'm aware of. So this idea that there's going to be some huge dump on day 350, it ain't going to be from the free claimers, because the last free claimer that had a minimum length stake is going to end his stake on day 701, unless he wants to get murdered by penalties, right? Actually, he can't even emergency end stake. That's disabled. So even if he wanted to end stake early, he can't, because free claimers have to hold their stake 350 days from when they claim it. And if you believe that this project's going to be viral and more people will know about it in the future than today, and more people will claim in the future than today, then the number of people whose stakes are ending in the future will be more, right? Then you have to ask yourself, well, is that canceled out by the rate that they're getting killed by the late claim penalty? I don't know, right? We have to see how it works out. Oh, I'm out of time. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I tried to answer some questions. My answers are really long, so I didn't get to answer as many as I wanted. There's a good chance you'll be seeing me often, so I'll have the chance to answer some of those questions I missed. And look, there isn't a question we haven't seen. Seriously, we've been doing this for a year or two. Every single question you guys have, we already have a canned, awesome, improved response, usually with a video. If you go to t.me/hex crypto and you type !pasta, you're going to get a list of all those awesome responses, which I will probably just add to the FAQ because they're so good, right? But I'm looking, when I look at my Google Analytics and I see how many people are hitting the FAQ, it's so rare that, I feel like we get more of the questions in chat than we do visitors to the FAQ. But maybe I'm just not looking at the stats often enough, or maybe, yeah. So I'll probably stick them on the FAQ anyway. Because some people don't want to, install another app and they don't want to use Telegram. Okay, I understand that completely. It's awesome. You should do it. I love it. So we're going to get the news first. You're going to help me build the ideas. You're going to help things become reality. Telegram is the absolute best for that. Real time. I live on it. So go there. Go to t.me/hexcrypto. Type !pasta. And then you'll see things like how much is the supply, and what about, can people recycle the ETH into the contract, and can I add the stakes, and every question you can imagine, we've already seen it. We even have one to make fun of you guys called !new, where it's like, hey guys, I found something new you never thought of. Nope. If you use Control F search function and type the keyword that you're talking about, you'll see your number 80 to mention that, and we've got it covered. So please read this canned response that we've made specifically for you. Actually read it. All right. I'll talk to you later, guys.